So who exactly is a qualitative researcher? It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer goes so much deeper than just talking about methods or data. It's really about a fundamental mindset, a whole different way of seeing the world. And to truly get it, we need to explore its very foundation.
And to find our answer, we're going to do something a little different. We're not cracking open a textbook. Instead, we're looking at this beautiful poem from Nepal, written by Professor Dr. Man Prasad Wagel. It just perfectly captures the heart and soul of this whole approach to research. The poem kicks off with this incredibly profound line: reality is different to different people. Just let that sink in for a second. This single idea, it's the bedrock of everything we're about to explore. In philosophy, this way of looking at reality has a name, and it's our first big pillar for understanding the qualitative mindset. So, that brings us to our first foundational pillar, understanding the nature of reality itself. In the world of philosophy, this concept is known as ontology. Simply put, ontology asks a huge question: what is real? Now, a lot of research is on a quest for a single, objective, measurable reality. But the qualitative researcher, well, they see it differently. For them, the answer isn't one solid fact, but something way more complex, and honestly, more fascinating. And the poem just expresses this so beautifully. The full stanza translates to something like this: reality is different for different people. Individuals have different beliefs and opinions. By listening to the participants' lived experiences, I arrive at multiple realities. Did you catch that key shift? It's not about finding the truth. It's about understanding their truths. And this gets to the very core of the qualitative worldview, just accepting that there isn't one single objective reality out there for us all to observe. Instead, reality is subjective. It's shaped by our lives, our backgrounds, our stories. So the researcher's job isn't to judge or to measure, but simply to listen and to understand. Okay, so let's move on to our second pillar and see how this all connects. If reality is multiple and subjective, well, how do we come to know anything about it? This is the central question of epistemology. Epistemology is all about knowledge. It asks those really fundamental questions like, how do we know what we know? And what even counts as real, valid knowledge? And as you might be guessing, the qualitative approach has a really unique and powerful answer. You know, the poem offers such a profound insight here. It translates to: knowledge is underpinned in participants' stories. There are valuable, but multiple kinds of knowledge. I find them in the course of my study and mix my own knowledge to create new knowledge. Now that is a huge idea. Knowledge isn't just discovered, it's something that is co-created. And this just brilliantly illustrates the researcher's role. See, they're not some detached observer in a lab coat. They are an active participant in building understanding. Knowledge isn't just extracted from someone. It's like a new tapestry woven together from the threads of a participant's story and the researcher's own interpretation and understanding. All right, this brings us to our third and final pillar, axiology. And this one is all about the role of values. What does the researcher believe is important and right in the way they do their work? You can really think of axiology as the researcher's moral compass. It's the why behind their how. It guides every single interaction, every decision, and it makes sure the work is always grounded in respect and integrity. And the poem's final stanza on this, it's just beautiful. It translates to: I derive information from a few. I recognize them equally. In my study, each idea is valuable, and I involve them individually while analyzing my data. This just highlights a deep, profound respect for the people at the very heart of their research. So, the core value here is all about honoring the individual. This isn't a numbers game. It's not about gathering massive amounts of data from thousands of people. No. It's about going deep, about really understanding the rich, complex experiences of a few people and treating every single voice as absolutely invaluable. So now we have our three pillars, right? Ontology, epistemology, and axiology. Let's put them all together and see what kind of portrait we can paint of the qualitative researcher. When you combine these pillars, you get this really powerful mindset. First, you learn to see the world not as one single truth, but as a collection of multiple valid realities. Second, you weave knowledge together. You're co-creating that understanding with your participants. And third, you value every single voice, making sure that each story is heard and respected. And here's how it all just clicks together perfectly. Our view of reality, that's our ontology, it dictates our role. Our job is to listen for multiple truths. This, in turn, shapes how we approach knowledge, our epistemology. We're not finders, we're co-creators of understanding.
And all of this is guided by our values, our axiology, which basically compels us to honor every single contributor.
So, who is a qualitative researcher? As you can see, they are so much more than just a scientist collecting objective facts. They're a story keeper, someone entrusted with personal narratives. They're a co-author, building new understanding right alongside others. And, maybe most importantly, they are a guardian of diverse perspectives in a world that so often just wants simple answers.
So why does this approach matter so much? Because in our data-driven world, it is such a powerful reminder. It reminds us that behind every statistic, every trend, every single data point, there's a complex, nuanced, and deeply human story just waiting to be heard and understood.
And that leaves us with one final and I think crucial question to consider. If we accept that research is fundamentally built on human stories, then what is our ultimate responsibility to the storyteller?